G'day, ZiggyD here, and today I want to talk a bit about my MMO experiences and how that relates to Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe just ask you guys a few questions about how you go about enjoying your MMOs. So, a bit of backstory. As I was growing up, I played tons of, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 1, and Warcraft 3, and then when World of Warcraft came out, was announced, and I started seeing stuff for it, I was incredibly excited about it. It looked like such an amazing game to be able to get into the Warcraft universe, which I, was already so in love with from these other games. Seemed like a pretty incredible prospect. Like, for example, I would read through the Warcraft 3 manual lore over and over again because it's just so, like, the world is just amazing. But I was a young Australian, and at the time our internet access was limited to, maybe if we were lucky we were allowed to go on for half an hour at night to, I don't know, there was no Facebook then. What did we do? Go play flash games or something like that, I guess. But there was no internet really for playing MMOs. Like, the most I did, I think I played a little bit of Ragnarok Online way back in the day when I had the beta. So during the beta of the first Ragnarok Online, that was like my first MMO experience, and pretty much my only MMO experience for a very long time. So I kind of missed out on the WoW boat. I missed out on the traditional MMO boat. The all of these theme park MMOs that are really popular now and have been popular for the last quite a few years now, since World of Warcraft launched, and even a little bit before then. But I kind of missed that boat. I'm sure many other Australians around my age were in the same, went through the same thing, and maybe some of you guys did as well. And it meant that when I finally got broadband internet, or decent dial-up internet, was able to, in the position where I could maybe play some MMOs, it just kind of felt like, I don't really want to jump into WoW now that there's like 4 expansion packs out, and it seemed like I kind of missed out on that one. So I was kind of always looking forward to, however, jumping into my first serious MMO and getting into my first serious MMO. Now, I've played a bit of Guild Wars, and I played a little bit of Neverwinter, but I didn't play them too seriously. I did max level on Guild Wars 1 character, and played that for a couple months, but I didn't play it seriously as an MMO. I didn't really get myself into the community or anything like that. So, yeah, they were, small MMO experiences, but not really major ones. So, just the backstory is that I don't really have a huge MMO background. So, Final Fantasy XIV I was pretty excited for. Ever since I played the beta, I thought, this is a really polished, really good-looking, new, but traditional-styled MMO. To me, it sounded like maybe I could get into this and see what all of these people that fell in love with WoW were, what they went through, what they really enjoyed about this MMO. So, pretty excited to play Final Fantasy. And during the closed beta, where, we were limited to level 20, I leveled multiple characters to around that. I played heaps, I learned heaps about the game. It was all pretty exciting. I had all of this new systems and mechanics and everything to unlock, and I was pretty excited about the game. So, I planned to add it to my content coverage, and I wanted to really get in and seriously play and cover this game. So it was my first attempt also to seriously cover a traditionally styled MMO. So that was pretty exciting. But so I played for, a couple of weeks after launch, and then I started to move beyond where I'd kind of done in the beta, like all the stuff I'd discovered. And I noticed there wasn't really that much more to discover in terms of the basic game mechanics. Like, in the beta, I guess I was unlocking all these, basic game mechanics. I was learning all these exciting new systems, but that kind of slowed down, and I guess I got into what is actually the core gameplay of the MMO, doing all these quests and doing the dungeons and things like that. And as some of you guys might have noticed from my lack of content for Final Fantasy XIV over the past 2 or so weeks, I haven't really been playing the game. Yeah. Now, I chose Final Fantasy XIV because it seemed like an incredibly polished and really, really well done game, and I fully think it is. But I'm beginning to think that maybe it's not you, Final Fantasy XIV, it's me. I don't really think that these traditional styled MMOs are for me. I'm a little bit confused about the whole idea, really, because they seem like it's been such an amazing experience for so many people. So I'm not just sure if it's because I'm coming to it late, because I never had these experiences when I was growing up, but I just couldn't really feel compelled to continue to play Final Fantasy XIV. I got to around level 30 or something on my Archer. Not quite, almost level 30, I think. But I just didn't feel compelled to continue. Like, the questing and stuff, it all felt really polished and felt really good, and it was kind of, I kind of had fun with it. And I even got into a guild and did some runs with the guild and stuff like that. So I did attempt to do the social aspects, which has been my failing in the past for these sorts of games. So I did try to get into that as well. My guild was good and it was really fun playing with them, but I just didn't feel particularly compelled to continue. So maybe let's talk about what I really did like about Final Fantasy XIV, and what I thought was done really well in terms of my experiences. As I said, in the beta, uncovering all of the new mechanics. There's lots of interesting things to learn in Final Fantasy XIV. The combat itself, the core combat, like skill rotations and figuring out how that kind of stuff works, was pretty interesting to learn. The cross-classing and stuff all felt really good, and even the early game questing felt pretty good. Like, the game's a little bit slow right at the start, but after you get past that, it starts to get really interesting. The questing's all really storyline based, and that was all pretty cool. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed doing that. I really enjoyed doing my first dungeons, especially when I did them with other people, when I was on voice chat and things like that. That was really fun, but all of this kind of wore off a little bit. So I want to put a question forward to you guys, since I can't seem to figure out what it is that actually gets people to continue playing MMOs. What is it for you guys that makes you really enjoy your MMOs that you enjoy? What keeps you playing for a long period of, for long periods of time, for years on end? Like, what kept you playing with WoW? Like, was it the community? Was it being really involved in a guild and feeling, like, I guess, obligated as well to continue, or just really enjoying spending time talking to those other people? I guess you make friends. That's always going to be something that can keep you playing. Was it questing? Was it the reward system? Was it that, I know I can jump on and do my daily quests, I'm always going to get some sort of reward? Was that like something that really compelled you to keep going? Was it like the end game grind? What keeps you guys playing MMOs? I'm curious to hear this, because it's something I haven't been able to uncover yet. And even through my best attempt to really get in and try to enjoy Final Fantasy XIV, it just feels like this might not be the sort of game for me. So I'm also really curious to hear if any of you guys are in a similar position to me, where you kind of didn't play that many traditionally styled MMOs in the past and tried to get into them, but didn't really feel that compelled to continue playing, like didn't really get the draw of them, essentially. Curious to relate to some of your experiences on that. But overall, this has made me rethink my content coverage plans a little bit. I've also been looking into WildStar in the future as another traditionally styled MMO that I could come in and play, and it's been marketed as a game that's going to be for the hardcore players, the vanilla WoW players that are looking for that really good experience again. And after trying to do Final Fantasy XIV and not really getting the point, like getting how you enjoy an MMO, not really being able to relate to that, I'm rethinking now that I probably won't cover too many traditional MMOs in the future. I might try them out, maybe give you guys some of my thoughts on them, but I don't know if I will get in and really seriously cover a game. So for me to cover a game like I've covered Diablo 3 or Path of Exile in the past, I really have to be really drawn into the game, the core mechanics. I have to enjoy at the very basis level every part of the game. So I'm talking like, for example, with StarCraft 2 way back in the day, what really made me enjoy it was not only that coming up with strategies and builds and stuff was fun, but also just pressing buttons was fun in that game. And, I can get these same sorts of feelings, like the basics of farming in Diablo is really fun. The basics of, like, building your gear sets and everything in Path of Exile is really fun. And these games really keep me going, and that's what really gets me making good coverage and good content for you guys. But I've obviously stopped Final Fantasy XIV because that game just doesn't do that for me. It doesn't really continue to draw me in. So I probably won't attempt to do a serious MMO again like this, because it obviously just doesn't seem to be the type of game for me. I guess you can't like everything, even though I really wanted to. But I probably will try out some of the more sandboxy MMOs coming up. EverQuest Next looks like it's going to be a little bit different than a traditional MMO, even though it's one of the older MMO IPs out there. But I'll probably give that a go, and if it does seem like the game that might be able to draw me in, or if sandboxy MMOs might draw me in the future, maybe I'll cover those in a bit more depth. But I probably wouldn't expect too much more on Final Fantasy XIV or traditional MMOs from me, unfortunately. Sorry if you guys were really looking forward to that content, but it just doesn't seem to be the type of game that I enjoy. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.